Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Hey, that most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope this is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? What, was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Consul, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Here we go. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that.
Yes!
But his hand was on the steering hard plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unslightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Haha, what fun. You hadn't realized.
A dear lady is absolutely right.
As your friend, you have embarrassed me as well as yourself, Renisuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes! Not mine! Anyway... When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why you ordered that drink. Correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although...
Although?
Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I am afraid I don't remember that. Damn you.
Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of the others in court, it means, bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway... As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot.
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes.
Likely for all of us, a little burn and the rest isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate other cause of death, it could only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
And yet, the fact is, the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Arrgh. Anyway, if there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do share me.
Yes.
Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hazunaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's sure. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh, no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I,
What's his name? Tatsushi.
Tatsushi will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. Yeah. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Yes.
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand?
Haha, killer blow! This lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. So, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Huh. What do you think, Renosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination won't be over. But that would mean... No, I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Renosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. about the person standing next to her. Inspector Hasanaga. The detective? Yes. He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Cosmo's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Alright, I thought we were done, but I guess there's one last thing. Here we go. Excuse me.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they are usually very careful not to let out anything slip. However, when they are listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Renisuke. It's all to do with witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who is the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with the D-pad and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Alright, there we go. D-pad and pursue. Excuse me. Yeah, what's the meaning of I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his own thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection! What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman who is testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. A detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yeah, what he said. Not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you really mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I am not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of a crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I am not ashamed of what I've done.
A crime scene thief?
Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example.
Is that...
This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now, but it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it.
One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence.
Let's examine it. Let's examine it. Here we go.
Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Alright, hold on. Let's examine it. We've got new evidence. Let's examine it. Here we go. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma?
I think it's French.
This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking.
Then go to France and ask.
You could just say that you don't know.
Okay.
Is there something at the bottom? Okay. Here, maybe? At the neck? This is it? Really? Just the label? There's gotta be something else. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had.
It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now.
You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going.
No, Inosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence.
Oh, no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we?
You never cease to amaze me, Inosuke, in more ways than one.
I wonder, could there be anything in this water?
What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden.
I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Yeah. Look inside. Alright, I've been suspecting this from the beginning. My suspicion is that she poisoned him with water somehow. That's why she hid the glass. She hid the glass because it was evidence. The glass that she hid in her purse is the poisoned glass, and the other is fine. She didn't want that specific one to be found because it had traces of poison in it. It has to be, right? But for now, I think the label and the water is all we can examine. Alright. Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question.
Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his, further.
Alright. Fortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. Toast.
Ah, here we go. I know of a way where a trace can't be left. There it is. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Yeah, here we go. Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done that. Giselle Britt. It was you!
Objection! This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
I don't care. This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
Kagurr!
Ahem. If I may.
I will silence you forever for this.
It is you who should be silent.
Oh, of course. Dear lady!
Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Hey! Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! That's not the only way. Come on, guys. I am very grateful to all you Japanese. I'm very grateful to all you Japs. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Consul. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused who, by his own admission, was holding this weapon is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Britt. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Renosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Who said that?
Please, wait.
But isn't that... What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sato Muktoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Makatoba. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued. Seriously? 22nd of November, 1:14 p.m., Supreme Court of... You know, Courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency...
I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I am sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying... Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curer and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curer? What's that? I've never heard that word before.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Here we go. I wouldn't mind taking a look at... Goodbye then, and good luck. Hi. See ya. Oh. You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Oh yeah, she's still here. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Hold on. Before you ask, Your Excellency, let me examine this. Synopsis. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungle of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Here we go. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it is believed that the toxin could have applications as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Okay. So, I'm sure this doesn't have anything to do with it, but he just came back from the dentist where he got an anesthetic. This paper is talking about how this curare poison can be used as an anesthetic. Did the dentist do it? No, it can't be. It's got to be the woman. But the woman isn't a dentist, so she probably just gave it to him. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. She gave him the poison. The poison works in minutes. It's not instantaneous. He got paralyzed. Maybe he got burnt, but he couldn't scream. Then she shot him. Yeah, okay. We're getting somewhere now, I hope. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. For reals this times. Yeah, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer?
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
This, I guess? Yes! Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison?
What?
Poison? Who are you going with this, counsel?
A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
What complete nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist.
Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of the sign of Texas. Alright then.
Order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Carrere has long been used by the tribes people of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it is reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Carrere suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Hi. Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. That's because he was too paralyzed to be in pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that the Carrere poison was used. Explain yourself, Consul. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Carrere poison. Any questions? And you are suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison, for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense!
If I may.
All these facts! You think you're so clever.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady!
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discover them? I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
Ha ha ha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see... why not?
Doesn't have to be in the bottle, it could have been in the glass that you hid. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry.
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. You little police games and these foolish court romantics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It is time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair.
Well...
Goodness, whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no courier? The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying?
Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that is the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
Grrr.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given.
Oh, brother.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there?
But there can have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over
Doesn't have to be in the bottle.
Come on, Ryusuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water... As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle.
What? Why, Ryusuke?
Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now.
Sometimes your unadulterated naivete really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining, until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world.
Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent?
That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Consul, for which you will be penalized.
Oh, this whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been Really? Okay.
Well, there's only two answers. If the second answer is
wrong, then it has to be the first. But how? Let's try to process this. Huh. Okay, so if we say that the bottle has poison, that means that she drank poison, but she also has an antidote somewhere, maybe? Alright, let's just see where it goes. The culprit did put Curie poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position.
You're serious?
Objection!
Fool! Are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle can contain poison. I mean, we just saw...
Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
She knew she was gonna get questioned about the bottle, so she brought the special glass with the antidote in it? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
It has to be this, right? She brought a special glass. Sure, let's see what yeah.
Yes!
There you go.
It seems the defense, or should I say, the wretched accused, is the only real source of complication in this case. You'll have to think harder than that, defendant.
Sorry, Your Excellency. I'll try to find some better supporting evidence. You're making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. Alright, I'll do my best to try and find an answer that fits the facts.
If the defense, the wretched accused, truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
Okay. The bottle was French. What else? Sweating so much? I'll just have a sip of this as evidence. On your side. Yeah. Okay. Could there be interesting possibility? But it's just a bottle. We can't prove that there's poison in the bottle by presenting the bottle. And it's not the handbag. I was gonna like okay. The medical report card? But how does that prove that she didn't get poisoned? Because she's an expert at poison. Okay, sure. She knows about the poison, so she knows how to cure it.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel.
Oh. Which one is that gonna be? Probably the last one. Oh, it has to go through a wound, not by ingestion. Right, okay. Here we go.
Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to the riddle?
This one, yeah, the second one. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, Counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there will be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat?
Yes, good point.
So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, Counsel! No, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. The mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. Did it enter through his tooth that he removed?
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little...
Rapscallion!
Excuse me? Well, Renisuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Nah.
Forget about it.
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how possible.
So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish?
Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yes, well, of course.
Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
That's
right.
Good gracious!
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? But he has a wound.
Order in the court. Order. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest...
Yes! This curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Which cockroach are you addressing? What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Objection! Oh? I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead.
Counsel, I am sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the courier?
There you go. As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners.
A fatal difference.
The toxic effects of Carrere are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example.
Ah!
Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
Oh!
So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments, they're all so puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. What the? You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle. And the Supreme Court? What a terrible brawler.
Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible, at once!
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet at my feet was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Ah ha 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 ha. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in that bottle. Or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady.
That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day using career. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. Heh, heh, heh. What wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. I know, doesn't she, like... Wouldn't you get arrested for doing something like that? She literally destroyed evidence in front of a courtroom. I don't know if you can get away with that. Ryunosuke! Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So, if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head. You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. Smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. There was ketchup. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head, could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Sure, why not? Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. You got it, partner. I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I wonder what it is.
Take that!
Inspector Hazunaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of the steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Wait a minute! Where are you going?
Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of the steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Huh?
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett? I beg your pardon?
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Yes, why not? She destroyed evidence.
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to.
Inspector, you mean...
Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant has been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice.
Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Yeah, and he can't smash a plate, can you?
Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir. I don't know who said that.
Hey, sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered, the steak.
Well, what about the blood? Is there any blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector, the blood man, show the court. Of course, examine the plate at your leisure.
No, that's not the steak. There was a lot of meat left on that steak. That's not the steak. That's the sergeant's steak. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. Impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. Yeah, look at all the meat there. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Heh, heh, heh. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
Oh! I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to make my best. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
I will examine it, thank you very much. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? No, it's different. Look at the meat size. bro. What? Huh? What the? What in the world is this? Is that the Koban coin? And the hallmark is from the Huey era, I believe. No, no, no. I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Yep. You know what's it doing there. Did you say it was a Huey Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Huey Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Yes, this means that this isn't the plate, you dumbass. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's not from the Huey era, and it's from the Huey era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, no, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Rinnosuke. A Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Yeah, I wonder what that is. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is the symbol of La Carnival, is it? Okay. Well, we've proven it's from La Carnival. That's good. Alright. Yeah, okay, we got something. Thank you, Prosecutor Ouchie. If we hadn't examined that plate, this whole case would have been over. This is it now. I've lost. Rinnosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what.
Believe in myself? Really?
Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Yes, sir. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I am completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see, and as a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? Underneath it. Huh? What the? What in the world is this? Oh, I didn't. I was supposed to present, not. Damn it. My go-to button is A. I'm sorry. Autoplay. Come Come on, come on. Why can't I skip this? I'm holding a B, but alright. There we go. Got it.
Good gracious, that's...
Koban? What on earth?
Hui era wanted that.
Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is, but I want no part of it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hui Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. That's not a simple mistake. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency.
Yes, Consul.
A rare Hui Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that this is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here.
The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing underneath that steak.
The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There is only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... That's a trick question. The owner of the coin is the old man, but the owner of the steak is the general. So... obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Kiryo Kurakuda-san. Kuri? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his koban coin when it happened, at exactly the moment the gun was fired.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hui era koban, my prize coin.
Then this Hui era koban... Do you mean to tell me?
No, please! Why would Kurakuda-san's koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes, it does. If you think about it. Which is why I'm asking you to bring Kurakuda-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay.
Whew. Alright then. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case.